Welcome back, friends, to Divine Feminine Radio, your weekly sanctuary for divine conversation in a masculine world. I'm your host, Ronnie Kala, here today with two lovely experts. We have the lovely in-house Tamara Rose, the expert of the Beyond Human Method, founder, and been deconstructing the patriarchy, activating the divine feminine for the last 15 years. We also have the beautiful Jaya Rose, who is a personal branding expert. She's been empowering entrepreneurs to share their gifts with the world for over a decade. Her philosophy is your ideal clients are already searching for you, but they'll buy from you because of your unique point of view. She's known for her lifestyle-first approach to business, proving you don't have to sacrifice time, peace of mind, or energy to build a profitable business. Her recipe is to share a clear message, show up powerfully online, and create a legacy with your work. Jaya, it is so good to have you here today, and contrary to both of your last names being Rose, we're actually not related. Funny enough.
Not related. We're just magically connected.
Just magically connected. And it's so funny because we have a call prior to doing these interviews with our guests, and we actually found out that Tamara and Jaya have a matching tattoo together, which is funny.
Forgot about the tattoo. Wait.
Yeah.
Is that how
Infinitely
you show?
trusting, and yours is trusting for
It just says trust.
in a circular trusting.
Yeah, with a moon. So it's like, be in trust with yourself and your flow and your cycles.
I have a moon tattoo in another place, but like we won't ever talk about that. I mean, I just kind of mention it, but we're just not gonna. Yeah,
we won't be showing
it. Moving on to the topic. What the fuck?
Moving on. All right. Well, it is so good to have you both here with me today. I absolutely loved our first conversation together. I think it was beautiful to connect. And Jaya, I found you on TikTok because of your one video about you don't take calls before 11 a.m. And that is like your brand, your strategy. You're like, that is, I'm going to put my life first and I'm not going to put my business first. And that was like one of the things that I absolutely loved about you and what you stand for, because it's such a divine feminine quality to put yourself first and your lifestyle first rather than like the go and the hustle that we've been so ingrained in. And so one of the reasons I am so excited to have you on with us today.
I love that. That video was funny because, especially on TikTok, you just never know what's going to land. So I love that is what landed. And this is 11 a.m. right now on the hour. So we're prime.
Nice.
Prime time.
Yeah.
Nice. But no, I think something that's fascinating for listeners, because a lot of listeners are like, oh, well, I need to hustle. I need to make my clock when somebody else is available. Or I need to work when somebody else is available. I need to do that. But what I found is like, if you set up the parameters of your business flows into what parameters you've set. Would you say that that's accurate, Jaya?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so beautiful. It's like if it's a container and the container has boundaries, even if it's circular, right? It has edges. And that's how energy flows. It flows into what's available. So yeah, make yourself available for what feels good for you. I'm a big fan of, and also I think that can sound really idealistic, and romantic, but it's just coping. Like for me, I'm either thriving or suffering. And like, this is my storyline. And so when I am on, I'm great. And that's when I showcase my brilliance and share my work and work with people. And when I'm not, it would be no good for anyone. So it's not even really selfish. It's very, it's just like honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
100%.
I like that you could reframe it too, from like selfish to just honest. Like what if everybody did that?
Right. Like, is it really helpful for anybody to overgive? Right. It's a structure that has been built out of necessity, I think, for the ways that the systems work. But if we're really truthful with ourselves, when is overgiving ever the recipe for like fulfillment or abundance?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Totally. Well, as an expert in the personal branding space, I know you mentioned you weren't always in the personal branding space. So give our listeners like a little bit of your story, how you started, what shifted for you to actually move into personal branding.
Yes. I knew nothing about marketing. or really business, except for the fact I had been in business for 13 years. When I found the online space about 10 years ago, I had been a personal trainer and a life coach, and I loved my work. I loved helping people. And that's all I really knew about business, is the relationship and the value exchange, which I think is the fundamental part of business. But when I found the online space, it got introduced to me in a way that shocked me. It mind blew, like I would do the mind blow emoji again and again for this, because I had no idea. I didn't know that there were women who were building businesses based on their brilliance, based on their intuition, right? Based on the natural abilities, being really successful in that way versus the academic abilities, right? Or the labels that are put on. That was not my world.
Yeah.
And so when I saw, especially in the coaching space, I was like, oh my gosh, they're speaking my language. I could be successful. And I was 38 at the time, and I thought, wow, if I could actually help more people and get my work out there, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to do it. And so I dove in. At the time, I was still doing personal training and life coaching. So my company was called Booty, Mind, and Spirit.
I love it.
And
That's good branding, first and foremost.
Yeah. Well, I did hire a business coach, which I don't think I could have done. And I wouldn't have known where to start. Right. And so over the first year online, I built out Booty, Mind, and Spirit. And I did so much around messaging, video, just crash course on learning how to market myself, that I became obsessed with it. Like every good neurodivergent does. It became my hyper fixation to speak on camera, to fine tune presence. And I didn't realize at the time that that was personal branding, but it was. And so when my dad actually passed away, which happened suddenly, and so it was just like here and gone, another shock that it catapulted me into questioning, like, what do I actually want to do? Now that I know it's possible that you could just go on a hike and sit down lean back on your backpack and pass away. Like that's what he did.
Oh my gosh.
Quite
That's
magical.
crazy.
I know, it is so crazy. But it blew my mind and changed me fundamentally to really train myself to look past the fear and see how like fleeting and limiting it can be. I don't know. It's like grief does different things for everybody, but for me, it really put me on a path to be more in my purpose and really just more true to myself. And so the question of like, what do I really want to do? How do I want to be expressing myself? And it was do video. So I just got this download. I created a program called Rock Your Videos, and I scaled that year to 6 figures, beyond 6 figures. And I realized, like, holy shit, this is where it's at. I love this. And so, yeah, that was about 10 years ago. And I've done a lot of things. We won't talk about all of them. We will take the whole time, talk about the dark night of the soul and things that came after that. But now I am still obsessed with video. Still obsessed with helping women get out there and, share their message.
It's interesting. I started probably 10, 15 years ago. One of my first companies, we haven't really talked about this, Ronnie. It was Flirt With Me Coaching Services. I was a flirt coach of all the things.
What?
Wildly fun, by the way. And something similar was going online and doing like video over and over and over and like putting training modules online over and over. Like I just remember standing in front of, the iPhones are great now, but it was like a little handheld camera. We go right back. Big light, handheld camera, over and over and over and over and over and over and every day, to the point where it's like, I think probably Jaya, you as well. Ronnie, I think you're starting to like really just hit record, but it's like, you get so used to it. And I think that's like a real point of success for people, if you can just allow yourself to do it over and over and over and over. And like, luckily, Jaya, you and I probably weren't like online at the time doing that. It was probably just like, for me, I was doing very like training. How do I just look at a camera and not be a dummy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, it was like YouTube. But it was like it's kind of desensitizing to those fears in some cases too, I feel like. And so,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a big step forward for a lot of people when it comes to branding in general, because you got to put your face out there, you got to get out there, you got to be
Yeah.
comfortable, and it's like just do it enough to where you're just desensitized and nobody cares. Be like,
Yeah.
Mhm. For
It's
sure.
exposure therapy.
they're
Yeah.
Hmm.
great.
I mean, I know, Tamara, you've been doing online masterclasses and in-person masterclasses for like the last 10 years or so, but the one that we did together, what was it, last October, like almost over a year ago?
Oh
I
yeah,
that was my first time
that's
like being
fun
up
part. Oh yeah.
on camera like in front of a masterclass of like, 100 people, and I was like, "Oh gosh, like this is uncomfortable with like the lights and like people, and people are looking at me and hearing what I'm saying."
Mm.
Like that was my first like exposure therapy. And then like this year when we've had the podcast going, like being able to like practice these conversations or like going live on TikTok, like I feel like I'm at the beginning of that journey almost, like being able to practice and get the exposure therapy. So it's cool to like hear you both in your journey 10 years later, and then I'm in like my
Yeah.
first year of doing that kind of work.
I love that.
Yeah, what would you
Awesome.
recommend, Jaya, other than like just hit record and get your face in front of things, like for
Yeah.
people who are, who are at the beginning stages? Because I really feel like, and it's different. I would say maybe it's different for different kinds of businesses, and maybe it's different for different kinds of people or different kind of industry specific. You know what I mean? But like, what
Yeah.
would you?
There is just a common truth that most people, when they're getting themselves out on camera, they go through, a certain process. And the process is overcoming yourself and really getting out of your own way. I think, for lack of a better way to say it. But I think that the starting point is really remembering and figuring out why you're doing it. And
Mm,
so this is one of the exercises I put people through in my membership is, oh, you want to get on camera? Great. Why? And why and how are
Mm,
you overqualified? So I put
mm,
people through this exercise called the 27 things. And the 27 things is inspired by a feng shui exercise that you actually get rid of at least 27 items in your home. And it's meant to bring new things in. And so I actually have them list out 27 reasons that they are qualified to do what they want to do.
nice.
And I've had people tell me that they do it over and over again, like that it's like the fundamental thing that created a shift for them.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to be easier to see our limitations and those fears than it is, right, to see our greatness. And so
yeah.
having exercises and ritual around those two things, why and well, what and why was it? Yeah. I
That's
think it's
such a
really
great
helpful.
exercise for women with imposter syndrome too. When we're like, are we qualified? I don't know what I'm doing. Like that's a great exercise to
Yeah.
anchor in like this is what I'm actually qualified in. This is what I'm actually
Yeah.
capable of.
Oh my gosh,
So,
because we could all do it. And Tamara, like you seem so confident, but I bet you would find new things in yourself to be proud of and to bring forward too.
Totally. If I was making a list, I mean, yeah, all the, I think that's like the daily occurrence to be like, what else did I do that was like great today? Or like, how
Yeah,
else? Like, oh, that was really phenomenal. Yeah. Yeah. And
it's so good.
I think when you're coaching people. So Ronnie, you're a coach, Jaya, you have clients. It's like you're constantly going like, what am I changing about myself now, even at this level, so that I can
For
show
sure.
clients I'm still in it. So I can tell people there's still space, like how many clients are like, am I ever gonna be done? And I'm like, well, I hope not. Like if
Yeah.
you're like if you're doing it right, you're still looking at what's next, so like what's next that I master, what's next that I'm good at, or what's next that,
Yeah.
I think that's just
mhm.
a way better conversation than like the doubt and the self criticisms that we get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and I love that you said criticism because that is the thing that I find comes up with people. So the next thing I have people do is it's called comfy on camera and it's a 5-day exercise where you do not put yourself out, but you record yourself. And I actually teach people how to give themselves feedback
Mm,
because the thing that we will do is we'll hear old stories, old voices, and most of the time it's not even us, right? And so giving yourself positive feedback, but then also constructive
Mm-hmm.
feedback
Mm-hmm.
is, I found, the best way to make progress. And so people love this exercise as well. They're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much more confident. And then you put yourself out, right? It's like expecting that you're going to just go live, like you said, Ronnie, on TikTok, or you're going to just teach a masterclass. It is a really great way to get into freeze. And when we are in freeze, obviously that's going to limit us from doing any of it at all. So find where you can be comfortable. I'm not a big fan of even like get out of your comfort zone.
Like,
I
what does
think
it
that,
even mean, by the way?
yeah. And how far out? And like, can I go back? Like, right? Like, what is the process here? I like to say it's your familiar zone. Like, yes, you need to get out of what's familiar, or you're going to keep creating the same thing. But does it need to be shockingly uncomfortable and dysregulate you? No. And if it does, you need to learn how to regulate yourself so you can make progress from that place.
That's brilliant, because I do see where people get, I guess, just lack of better words. They just like, it's too much too
Yeah.
soon, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like, okay, what is the baby step? Like, what is a baby step? What is one step in that direction? You know, talking with a client earlier today about like all the change that they want to make. And it was like, look,
Yeah.
let's do this much so you can win, so you can feel good, so you can like,
Yes.
you're still going to learn, but let's do this much instead of all that, right this, like, right today. And let's do
I
this
love
much
that.
consistently for like a week or two. Like, don't start adding in a whole bunch, right? You know, like whatever it is, whatever the for the listeners, whatever your thing is, you know. Yeah.
No,
So I
that's
love
so
that.
brilliant. It's like, instead of thinking that you're going to succeed, try to win instead. And you
Yeah.
can win at any point.
Yeah.
It is a
I love
win to
that.
do it, right? I think, and it's almost a crutch at this point for me, because I've trained myself to where you have no idea how proud I am of every freaking video I put out. And I put out multiple videos a day for my brand. And I'm just like over here gassing myself up. And, you know, half of them don't really go anywhere. That's just the nature of videos. And yet, like,
Wild.
I was my biggest fan.
Yeah. I'm always like, I'm like, I told Ronnie, I was like, oh, I put out 3 today. Isn't that cool? I'm going to do that. Oh, I got behind. Oh, wait, I'm going to put out more today, you know? And it's like, but I put out 3. Look at that, you know? And I let it sit for like, I think I let it sit for like a month already. I had like a dry, it
You
was
haven't
like
posted in a
really,
little
it was
while,
like a
yeah.
good, and then it was like, I need a break. You know, I took my little break, and now I'm like, oh, I'm going to go. Yeah. But I was,
Well, I love the strategy of like following the wins and getting yourself out there and like practicing for yourself first, like before you go in front of other people. But before we go too much into like how you work with people and like strategy, I'm curious for people who don't know what personal brand is. Like you've talked about like personal brand, brand persona, and then unique point of view. And I'm curious like if you can break that down for our listeners who may not have heard any of those terms before.
Yeah, I love that. I like to use this car analogy when talking about your business and your brand, because when you start an online business, a lot of people just bring a business that already exists. I think, right? So if I look at that way, like you have a business, you help people in some way, you have offers, and that to me is the engine of the car. So that's wonderful. We can sell an engine based on like, oh, you can get from point A to point B. That's what the engine does, right? It gets you where you want to go. And that's what your business does, is it helps people create transformation, get a goal set, whatever. From point A to point B, we can deliver. Now you can have that offline and you're literally sitting, like the engine is there. That's wonderful. People come to you. But if you want to get more people to know you, know, love, and trust you and buy from you, then online is the way to go. And then we get online and we think, oh, I just need to go tell people about my engine. And that is really the problem, right? So the answer is that no, we actually need to build a car around the engine. The car around the engine is your personal brand. And you can think about it. I think it starts to resonate where you can look at different cars, right? There's a Porsche, there's a Toyota, there's a Honda, there's a Subaru, an SUV. What kind of exterior represents the transformation you offer? And so this is where you look at like brand vibe, brand alignment. if you're somebody who has like a campfire vibe, you're going to bring people in, say you're a coach, say you're a relationship coach, and everything is about creating safety. And then we don't want your brand to be a race car.
Right.
Right. It shouldn't be a bright cherry red convertible.
No, it
that
sounds more like a Volkswagen camper. Right?
Sure.
Maybe
but
a
like a
Subaru.
nice one. Right. Exactly. So we have to think about these aspects of how do we represent our work in a way that makes people actually want to get in the car and buy the car.
Awesome. That's a great
good
analogy.
analogy.
I love that. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, I'm a rose gold. I'm a Maserati. That's just me. Like if it was just
Okay.
my car. I literally was looking at rose gold Maseratis the other week.
And there you go. And for me, my next car is a hybrid RAV4. And that says a lot.
Yeah.
I'm very practical. You can already see, right? What is the practical step you're going to take? We're going to get there. It's going to be really comfortable. It's going to be nice. It's going to be leather. It's going to have a moonroof, right? And so this is, I just think that if you can, everyone now listening, if you think about, well, am I representing my work in a way that feels inviting to the right people?
Yeah.
Because not everyone's going to want to get in the RAV4. Not everyone's going to want to get in the rose gold Maserati. Maybe they're like cramped. They're too tall. I don't know.
Right.
There's the way that and I know that you said it, Ronnie, at the beginning, that my philosophy is that people are already looking for you. People are already car shopping. And that is just true. And if somebody is not car shopping, then they're not really ideal to buy from.
Yeah.
And I think this is a big problem that happens, especially for women, where we know that we can help so many different types of people and our expertise can be quite nuanced and broad. And some of that can come with educating people on what we do, especially if you do a more like esoteric type thing. And this is like the death of sales. This is why a lot of people just don't take off online. It's because they're forgetting that the people who are ready to buy are who they should be talking to. And those people are probably not talking about whimsical things. They're talking about actually solving a problem.
Give us an example of the difference between the two and how somebody would communicate like differently.
So let's talk about mindset. There's a lot of mindset coaches online. And I think that mindset is so valuable. We all do, right? We've talked about mindset multiple times here on how to move forward. So commonly a mindset coach will use language like go to your next level, like release your limiting beliefs, feel better, live your best life. They're broad terms that they understand what that means. And if you're heavily indoctrinated, for lack of a better word, into the personal development space, you know what that means as well. But if you're trying to help people who don't know everything about personal development, then that language is just going to go whoop. And it's also not going to be, when we just get right down to it, what somebody puts in the search bar.
Yeah.
So what I would help a mindset coach do in terms of their personal branding is pick an archetype for an ideal client of somebody who literally exists and diagnose them. So much of like sales is about diagnosing. And so if we can diagnose what they're going through by being more specific about who they are. So I'd say, no, we're not helping everybody. Wait, your expertise is, or your own transformation was out of postpartum, being depressed, and then finding your creative passion. Say that's their story. I'm like, that's your brand story. Now that's who we're talking to. So figuring out like the practical who it is and then talking to those specific things. What is a postpartum mom who's trying to find herself? What is she Google searching for?
Got it.
Now we're going to create messaging. And this mindset coach who was talking about overcoming limiting beliefs is saying, find yourself through motherhood. And I don't know, now I have to like do a lot of research to figure this out, but
like getting more specific for what they're searching for.
Like overcome your daily anxiety and start and like unlock your creativity as a new mom.
Or like she's like, I'm pulling my hair out. Fuck this. I mean, I don't know. What does the search engine say? I remember breastfeeding and rocking and texting and being
Oh,
like, "What am I doing? Am I gonna kill my child?"
literally.
Like, I don't know.
It might just be like mom support group. That might be what they're searching. But this is
Yeah.
where I actually put people through in my membership this exercise of interviewing 5 ideal clients.
Mm.
And we ask super specific questions to get language. And then we take that language and then that's how we develop messaging for the brand.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So,
Such a good exercise.
is this what you are talking about when you say a unique perspective or a unique point of view?
No, I mean, actually, no. So that's more like market language. And I think
Okay.
that there's just a lot of education that needs to happen in understanding we're in a marketplace. So we're converging your expertise with the marketplace. And then the brand POV, which we could develop some of this for y'all. I'm sure you already have it, but we can fine tune if you want to do an exercise around it. So the idea is, okay, I solve this problem. So for me, I help you take your work and translate it into the marketplace in a way that grows your personal brand and people come to you, right? I say like ideal clients flock to you. Great. But that's what a lot of people do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So someone would be like, oh, that's great. She can help me do that. But why am I going to pick her? So your POV is why are they going to pick you?
Mm-hmm.
And Ronnie, you already introduced me as why people are going to pick me because I want your brand to build your dream lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have something called the brand you method. It's really about putting yourself, having it be deeply authentic to you. And also, one of the angles that I talk about a lot is if you feel like you've never fit in, it's because you're meant to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I'm
That's a
neurodivergent.
great like tagline, and like that's what you're saying is the point of view is
Yes.
because what you did is you took the thing that like they're challenged by, I don't fit in, and you're
Yes.
saying, duh, it's because you're supposed to stand out, and that's what I do with you, right? So that's
Yes.
the pieces you're talking about connecting.
Exactly. And
Awesome.
that's my unique perspective where someone else can say, oh, I can help you grow a personal brand so you can go on vacation, so you can travel, so you can stay home with your kids, so you can work from home in sweatpants. You know, these would be different point of views. And every time I share that particular, would call that a truth bomb. Just if you feel like you've never fit in, that goes viral because
Awesome.
it's so validating to
Yeah.
people. And that is the why of why they're going to mention me. Oh yeah, I found this girl. She's talking about not fitting in. She helps with personal branding. They're going to remember because I've branded myself. It literally says Jaya Rose, build your brand.
Yeah.
And then I talk about things that matter to the type of people who are going to be attracted to my vehicle.
That's awesome. That's so
Right.
brilliant. And I know we're going to get there in the questions, I'm sure, but like who specifically do you love working with?
I mean, I would imagine both of you would be the type of people that I would
Yeah.
love working with. And you can tell me if you fit this
Yeah.
category.
Yeah.
But under the guise of the misfit, these are people who have always walked their own path. They are leaders in their own right. They're the person who people call because they have a unique point of view. They have a unique perspective. And, but then in terms of like what they do, they are an expert. I don't really work well with people who don't know what they do yet or like trying to find what they do. I like to work with people who have case study after case study, have so much evidence to show the value of work, but they just don't have the language to express it. And I'm like, oh, I can help you express that.
And
So that's what I geek out over.
would you say that it's like mostly entrepreneurs that you're working with, mostly business owners, or small,
Yes.
like specific? So, like for our people listening, right? Like, how would they also know that you would be the person for branding for them, right? Like,
Yeah, I help you brand your business. So
yeah.
there are other people who are experts in personal branding who help with
Mm.
being an influencer and branding so that people want other brands will hire you.
Mm.
That is not my area of
Yeah.
expertise. I
That's a great distinction, though. Like talking
yes,
about branding, there's so many ways to go branding. So that's a great
yes.
like example of not that this.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of coaches, healers, service providers get stuck listening to people who are actually giving advice on how to be an influencer. And I'm like, don't do that. We're not branding you as an influencer, right?
Yeah.
We're branding you as a solution to somebody's problem.
But would you also say you work, so it sounds like coaches, healers, like what if somebody owed like a CPA firm or something, or a bookkeeping firm, or is that
Yeah,
like
like real
you?
estate agents, accountants, anybody who needs to be the face of their marketing and
Mhm.
wants to grow their reach online.
That's a good point then. The face of the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
Yeah, because
resisting that for years.
most people with products don't necessarily have to do that. So I don't
Mhm.
tend to attract a lot of people with products.
Mm.
But some people with products, like I have a woman in my membership who created these connection cards. I think they're called cards of connection, which I think is so cute. So it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, but then it's like spiritual aspect. And so she would be a great person who has a product, but needs to be the face of her brand and like tell the story, create a narrative around the product.
Yeah. I also feel like branding kind of gets missed in the mix, right? So people think of marketing, they think of sales, but like
Yeah.
branding specifically is not necessarily in a lot of entrepreneurs' face or business owners'
Yes.
face, if you will.
It's not really natural because you go, okay, I have the engine. Now let's market it, which means get it in front of people to tell
Mhm.
them about it
Mhm.
specifically, and then transaction, make the sale. But what are you selling? What are you marketing if if you don't have the car built around the engine?
Let's say, I want to break this down one more piece for the listener. So let's say I'm a business owner and entrepreneur, and I have somebody who does marketing and I have somebody who does sales, and I'm missing the part about branding. Like it does seem like these might be three different expertise. Like, so if somebody was really gonna, like they had the financial investment to really do this, would you
Mm,
recommend like branding come first before marketing and sales really step in? They work together. Maybe there's like social medias in there. Like if you really wanted to have like kind of segments is how, or like individual people in charge of something, like how does
mm.
what you do specifically fit into those like different?
So do you mean that someone's going to hire people to do those things for them? Is that what you're
Yeah, like
saying?
if somebody was like, look, I'm gonna have somebody who's gonna do my marketing, do my sales, do the branding, maybe do the social media. And because I think sometimes solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small business owners kind of try to either do everything themselves, or they also have one person do all these things for them
Mm,
without kind of realizing that they're all nuanced and different, right? So even the topic of conversation, that marketing and sales is not the same. Like you're going to market something, and like I mean, if we go way back, I got my degree in public relations of all, like, but like, do I use it? Maybe. I don't know. I never really thought to use it. But that's also can be like your PR is different from sales, is different from marketing, is different. Like branding, I feel like has this
hmm.
own unique pod, but it kind of speaks to it all. And so I'm curious if you can kind of explain how those go together. And if somebody's coming to them and they're like, I do your branding and your marketing and your sales and your social
Mm,
media, like I do it all for $99 a month, that they'd be like, that don't seem right. Like,
hmm.
like
Yeah.
the
Well, and
quality
I
of what
wouldn't,
you're doing.
nobody can do your branding for you. So I wouldn't recommend hiring somebody to do that. I help people create and build their personal brand, but there also is no real brand without marketing and sales. So
Okay.
it does
Yeah.
all go together, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just have the car sitting there with a lovely engine and all these great bells and whistles, but
Yeah.
nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
So brand awareness can look like marketing. Like for me, it does. I call it attraction marketing, and that's what we do through video.
Yeah.
So it's like multiple things are happening at once. Hey, you're aware of my brand. Kind of like what happened with you, Ronnie, when you first found my video, then you became aware of my brand. You understood me and my point of view. And you probably could just even based on like build your brand, or you go click on my page, you're like, oh, I can see that she also helps people with this thing. right?
Mm-hmm.
So in one fell swoop, I did the brand awareness and marketing. It's like, it's such like nuance in all of this language. But my understanding of marketing is it's repetition of awareness, and it's showing someone that it's the right choice for them. And so I'm trying to do that all
Yeah.
in a video. You
Yeah.
could have a campaign that's okay. Now we have an awareness campaign. Now we have a conversion campaign, and then we combine everything. But in my opinion, it should be all based on your personal brand, and specifically the thing that ties it all together that I think people will really understand is your messaging.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the message comes from your expertise and the ideal person that you're speaking to. And then that POV we sprinkle on, right? So that has to be in the marketing. If you don't know your ideal client really well, which is why we interview people and we find out what's going on with them, all this stuff, then then there's a weak link, right? If you don't understand yourself and your own expertise, weak link. And again, with the POV. So we've got to get these things so that then you go to market a product or a service. It's based on the language of your brand,
Awesome.
right? The brand narrative is built in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're such it's a really good question you're asking. I teach all like my membership's called Being Well Paid. And so I don't think I could call it that if it was just about identifying your brand.
Right.
It's how to build your brand, and you build your brand through, all the way to making sales.
Right.
Otherwise, what are you doing it for?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it just seems like it's such a core foundational piece, I think, is like what I want to get out is. So like if some, business owner entrepreneur is going out there marketing or trying to hit the pavement with sales, but doesn't understand this piece, it seems like that's going to be harder, more challenging, spend more time, pushing a boulder up a hill kind of deal.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
And it may feel that way to a lot of you who are listening. And I hate to be like, oh, this is your problem, but at least it's like, it's based in, this is actually a solution. And the solution is like deeper understanding. I like to say that your brand should be selling your work. And that's the thing about attraction marketing. And the thing about video in particular is that it has such a superpower of breaking down those trust walls, right? Because we have a trust issue now in the online space. And what I mean by that is that it's so oversaturated with very similar type strategies where people know what it means when download my freebie, or they get the first email. They understand that it's a sales process. And so the trust is just like, it's the biggest commodity that we can create.
Yeah. There's also this thing online that I've noticed, Jaya. I don't know if you've noticed it. I think I popped off to Ronnie one day. I was like, this is like people taking AI scripts.
Oh, yes. Every time I hear, it's not this, it's this. Every time it's like, it's so annoying.
Give me your perspective on this, Jaya.
Oh my God. Oh, I had PMS this week and I was on one about AI, and I triggered a lot of people I use my personal Facebook
You're
page
not the
too.
only
Yeah.
one.
No.
I literally did a video one time. I was like, I'm over your AI scripts. I can hear it. I know you did ChatGPT. You have less to say. I'd rather you say it. Could you just could you ingest whatever that information was and then just talk to me? Because I feel I want to
literally. Well, so my big issue is the video, because I don't read. Like, I know how to read, but I don't read. I'm not going to read your caption. I'm not going to read your email. I'm not going to. This is not how my brain works. Right. So you might be sending me something all AI and I didn't know. It didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But but I have a few people on my timeline and they are using video, like starting to teach video and how to have your AI, that's called your AI twin.
I've seen that too.
Gosh, I hate that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes. So I'm triggered. Here's my triggered rant is like, yo, you think it's hard to put yourself out on video? Do not make an AI twin that also thinks it's hard to put themselves out on video.
You clone the
It's just
wrong
going to duplicate you.
Yeah. What are you duplicating? Like duplicate greatness, maybe, but once you're great at it, I'm hoping that it feels fun. Like one of the things I say is, do video not to check something off your list, but because it's going to change someone's life just to see your 60-second video. You're going to bless people's lives, and that is going to bless your life. I don't see how AI video fits into that recipe.
The only person I've seen get away with what you're talking about, because I've seen it where, you're like,
okay,
the person does the animation, they do all these things. The AI, then you feed it a script, it'll do your voice, and then it'll reanimate you for the thing. The only person is the lady who's slinging how to use AI. That's the only one that gets away with it. Because her whole avenue is like, she's like, and this one is just me talking at you through the computer. But
you cannot sell with AI unless you're selling AI.
That's it. Yeah. That's the only one. Everybody else, nope.
Right. Like, what are you going to sell? Your relationship coaching? And you're like, hi, have you looked at your relationship deeply?
Be super connected with AI. I mean, that's like a whole nother.
It's not okay. It's not okay. And it won't happen. I mean, that's where I'm just like, y'all spend your time and energy actually building your personal brand. Yeah. And I guarantee you're not going to do that with AI.
Yeah. 1000%. 1000%.
So when we're talking about like someone discovering their unique point of view, someone discovering their brand identity, like what is something that is helpful inside of attracting their ideal clients and being able to identify these three things for themselves?
Well, we talked about the clarity around who you're talking to, I think is the sticking point. I find that it's hard, like it's really hard for people to do that. And I don't know if it's commitment issues, if everybody has commitment issues. I know
everybody has commitment issues, Jaya. Let's just know that. If you're listening to this podcast, you too probably have commitment issues.
You probably do. If you are unwilling to commit to an ideal client avatar, you have commitment issues, and that's okay. Listen, I'm on my third husband. Okay. So we aren't judging. We don't judge.
I think it's the people pleaser in us too. Yeah. Like we want to please everybody. Yes. We want to work with everybody. We don't want to just narrow down to one person.
Right. Yeah. No, that's so true. And one of my core values of my brand is inclusivity. And I stand on that. Like I won't go do speaking events if there isn't an inclusive lineup. I won't, like, I really, really mean it. And so right then I'm like, yeah, but you're not included in what I'm saying. And so there is like a contrast there that does exist. And I'm just saying to you, bless it because it exists. It's just the way it is. Yeah. And it is leaving people out. But the truth is that we've all had the clients who are not fun to work with. We've all, right? And sorry, Tamara, sorry, but
I mean, yes.
Right? Jaya. Okay. So, and has it ever worked out well?
No, it tanked my company. On the peak, I mean, really, you got to get this. At the peak of, I had 6 employees. I was training 35 coaches in my methodology. And I had 50 to 100 clients in the year-long program. Like that was the
big. Yeah.
And I looked and was like, bless everybody's heart who's listening. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about everybody else, not you listener. Okay. We're just caveat with that. The coaches were the biggest pains in my asses. And I was like, why am I training coaches? They are the worst clients I've ever had. They were just like, and I just went, you know what? I'm not training coaches anymore. And I had a certified program that was better than the IFC. And I was just like,
do you think that it was the people? I mean, is it coaches or was it people?
It was a particular kind of personality that was attracted to learn so they could lead, but didn't want to spend so much time learning because they already knew. And so it became like this. And honestly, at that time, I mean, my program, I call it, it's 12 months, but I tell people, I'm like, it's actually a 3-year program to really master what I'm doing. But I don't sell it and I don't talk about that because I wouldn't say yes to 3 years. That's ridiculous and that's terrible. But when I started, I had like 12 months of training and then people wanted to stay on and they wanted to like, and I was like, yeah, let's change people's lives and exponentialize. And if you're a coach, you're going to be able to work da 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 da. So there was like a handful of people that wanted to be coaches. So my second year was only set up as a coach. Now we restructured. I'm like, why would I do that? Now I did it because I had people asking for it and I probably had some of that people pleasing, and then when I really looked at it, I
Mm.
was like, that don't make me happy. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to both people pleasing, and like who that does not fun. Does not fun,
Mm-hmm.
Jaya.
Exactly. So
Going
you just
forward.
reinforced it.
Yeah.
This is why we commit to, I call it the one client commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very much like dating. So when you are dating, say you're dating to marry, you are very specific about the standards and the personality types and the values
Yeah.
that you are attracting. Like I would recommend writing them down.
Mm-hmm.
And so eh, that would be like your one love commitment. You're going to commit to somebody who can come into your life and meet the standards, requirements, and needs and desires that you have. And I don't think it's different than clients. I don't take on clients that I wouldn't be friends with. And that might sound a little bit weird, but it just means that we are going to have a good time when we work together. I am not going to be dreading talking to you. I'm going to show up energized and I'm going to give you my all because I've committed to you before you've even come in. Right?
Hey,
Because you,
like let's just dispel that myth right there. So many people are like, I don't do business with friends, right? Every single, and it's Jaya.
I only do business with friends.
Similarly, like I was just a week in California. I was looking at locations for our event and I have all these clients in California. So I'm stopping and I'm like, I'm going to a wedding and then I'm having like dinner and then there's a concert and then there's a fireside chat with all of it. It's like everybody was like, yeah, that's fun. But like
I love that.
I turn my clients become friends because it's such a personal journey that the friends become clients and then it's fun. PS, I feel like I'm gonna get up on my pedestal. Maybe y'all agree. I don't know. I feel like it was the patriarchy that was like, you shouldn't do business with friends. But then you
It
see them
had to
all
have been a man.
golfing. What's that?
It had to have been a man
Had
who
it been
said
a
that.
man that said that. And I think it was like shutting down women being friends with like business because they golf. I see them doing, I've been in Telluride at the resort and looking at the golf course and looking at all the men at the table playing the golf seas, talking about business, from like North
Yeah.
Carolina. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, it is a patriarchal value and it makes perfect sense if you want people to not learn how to find joy in their work.
And I
Right?
think it's a separation too. Like patriarchy is inherently like separate and capitalism and focus on like the money rather than like the community and like I
Yeah.
think just all the values that are mixed into that has it be like the separate and the lack of connection inside of business.
And what if we're all like happy doing our work, helping each other, and we create our own ecosystems of money?
Yeah. What a fascinating
flowing.
concept.
Yeah. Who came up with that, Jaya? So Jaya's so smart. Yeah, like what an amazing concept that we could have fulfillment at work. That we could like,
Exactly.
and I have had friends who were like, I would love to work with you, but I don't do business with friends. And I'm like, then we ain't gonna be a match of work together because that seems weird. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's somebody else's perspective.
Wow. On this same topic, what have you all been told around bartering?
Mm.
Because I know that when I came into the online space, I was told that it was a money block, that you can't receive money and to not give your work away for free.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, and I do want to genuinely hear what y'all think about this, but I just am starting this month in my membership something called the Barter Club.
Oh,
And every week we get to share our work with each other and you get to meet new people and barter your services with people. And
I
I'm like, I think it's fucking revolutionary.
yeah,
So
I think
anyway,
it's awesome.
what do you think?
Well, so there's different kinds of bartering. So what I've noticed when I started off my business, I started off my company and I started coaching people, first was like the hourly rate, or there was like work with me for 30 days, work with me for 6 days as I'm building it. And I think when you're new to sales and you're new to yourself, you're new to like doing this, somebody would come in and go, "Oh, I'd really love you to coach me. How about we trade?"
Mm,
And the trade I have never seen works out.
mm,
So that's a personal experience for me. And 15 years and like people being like, let's trade. And I would just be like, you know what? I would rather pay you and have you pay me, because I think then what we're doing is we have an energetic exchange, whatever the agreement, and like make up the agreement. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah.
like there's an exchange, we're set on what it is we're doing for each other, but the trade never panned out in my experience, and always left like something to be desired. But
Mm,
do I we do free, we'll do non-paid talks, or we've done 3-day events sometimes for and given out free tickets. Like it's not about you have to pay this price for the ticket. It's
mm-hmm,
like we're more interested in like, okay, what is the give, right? Because what I know works is my year. If you work with me for a year, I know I can change your life. If we're going to go talk or we're going to go do a thing, like I'm just going to give you whatever expertise I have. That's my perspective, because
mm,
I can't change your life drastically unless I'm with you for like, you have to say yes for a year, right? That's a bigger ask. I get it. But like, that's my,
mm-hmm,
I've just honed in. That's my bread and butter. That's where I thrive. So like when I was in San Diego, my client was like, I want to get all my ladies together. Let's do a fireside chat. I'm like, okay, do you think it would have value? So that's the question. What does it have value? If they pay a ticket to show up and they say yes and they do that, or is it more beneficial if it's free or donation? So we kind of look at the energy ahead of time, because I'm
mm-hmm,
not attached to anything. What I'm looking for is like, what has people invested in the conversation? And sometimes when there's
Hmm.
no price, sometimes people aren't invested, and I'm like,
mm-hmm.
so I've seen it all. I don't have I don't have the right answer. What about you, Ronnie?
I think there's something interesting. You're talking about the value, like I've seen specifically with, let's say, hair, like people in more like artsy jobs, like hair
Mhm.
and then nails, and
Yeah.
they don't understand the value of what each service provides or what it actually is. So, like, someone may say, like, oh, you can do 12 nail appointments with me for like 10 hair appointments, but there's not like, it's not the same. It's not the same like value of expertise or value of service. And so sometimes that can get like condensed or misunderstood. Maybe like, oh, well, why am I only doing 12 and you're doing 10? Or why am I doing 10, you're doing 12? Like, and it's not equal in that like energetic exchange potentially. So like that's something that I've seen in like the trade and barter. I do love it as like a concept and way of like receiving and creating and like being able to receive with each other without having to like have money involved. And like it's another opening to receive, I think is my sense. But at the same time, like having to understand the energetic exchange and like what the value of each exchange is
Yeah.
potentially.
Mm. Yeah,
I
that's the most important part,
and I
is
also think
having a
that,
clear
yeah, I think
exchange.
there's like an energetic up leveling that I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested in people creating for themselves. So, I'm interested in like, you think of yourself here, but you're like goddess. Like stop, like how do we take you from basic to goddess, like where you're really in abundance? And so I'm interested in like, what are the levels to get somebody to seeing that they are abundance, seeing that they have resources, seeing that things are accessible. And I think that can be like a mindset block for a lot of people. Like, this is all I have, and it's like, okay, well, let's start where you are, but like, how do we get you to where you see like you have everything at your fingertips as an infinite being? So that's a higher energetic level conversation. um I don't know if that's what you were asking for, Jaya, but I was like very much like, I see the opportunity for people to jump into the next level of who they can be in a money conversation too.
Yeah, I think we may just come from different angles because
Mhm.
I agree that
Yeah.
I'm I love the idea of being fully resourced. And then I feel like actually I love trading because of that. Like that to
Yeah.
me
Mm-hmm.
is so abundant. But I do agree that it has to be the resource, the value has to all be
Yeah.
aligned. So one thing that we do in my membership is I teach this, I call it the well-paid offer stack, and I have everybody create a breakthrough offer. So for people who have a service, I find it to be really helpful to have one offer that creates a transformation. And it's very often the transformation that your ideal client needs to have in order to then come into Tamara, your year long, right? For me, come into my mastermind. And so the breakthrough offer is really cool because it's a win-win. It's like, you're going to pay for this transformation and then it's going to lead you to be ready for the next step. But it also is such value that you could walk away and you don't have to go in, right? It's not like an offer ladder. You know how people do that and they're like, oh, you're not going to really get the result until you do the next thing. I can't stand that.
Yeah.
So the
No, I think
breakthrough,
that's so
and then
brilliant.
people trade breakthrough offers. So
Mhm.
the value is already, someone might charge 300 for it. Someone might charge 500 for it, but it's an hour.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's great. So I have two of these right now, just to give you an example. I have one with a woman who's like highest level in her field, tapping. She has a tapping school. Her name is Jackie McDonald. She's like the best. And so I'm trading her for a TikTok video session for a tapping session.
Nice.
We
No, good.
Very cool.
we could
I think
totally pay each other.
that's
But
exactly it. Like I've had people, I think what my experience has been is, and I even had this, I think this last year or whatever, somebody would be like, I really want to do that program. Do you need a personal assistant? And I'm like,
yeah,
no, 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 no. I don't want to train a personal assistant. You have no expertise as a personal assistant.
yeah.
Don't come in and be like, let me personal assistant.
No,
No.
you're not qualified to trade unless you're bringing something of equal value.
There you go.
And that
Yeah.
right
There
there
you go.
raises it,
There you
right?
go.
Like so yeah, I'm excited about the barter club. We will see, but I feel it is so abundant because for someone who's maybe not attracting a lot of clients yet, now they have 3 clients on their books for next week.
Awesome.
They're getting 3 somethings that help them.
Awesome.
And then they're also getting 3 testimonials that they wouldn't have gotten.
Yeah. And I want to
Yeah.
be clear because I do feel like the economical system is crumbling. And I do feel like
Exactly.
we are moving into more of an energetic, like energy field. It can be trade. It could be people showing up with exactly what you need when you need it. Like I can sense that happening. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I do love and respect exactly what you're saying. And I love that it's things of equal value. So Ronnie, thanks for
Yes.
also illuminating, like, if it's like you like hair extensions take somebody 5 hours to put in, then they're like, let's trade for a mani pedi. And you're like, in what
Not quite the
world?
same. Yeah.
And so to have it like caveated with equal value, Jaya, and like people are both getting and like people are both receiving also, those are great case studies or testimonials or people getting feedback as well as they're creating. And like, I love all of that. I love everything about that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, Jaya, you mentioned like different ways to work with you. You mentioned your membership and the barter club that you just created. Give our listeners like all the different ways they can connect with you and work with you. I'll put all of your links below, of course, but like go ahead and share as much as you'd like.
Share all the things, make it all gooey and lovely so people can come.
Okay. I love this. Okay, so my breakthrough offer that I just talked about is a messaging power hour, because like we touched on multiple times, it seems like in this podcast, is translating the brilliance you bring in putting it into the marketplace through your personal brand can feel overwhelming. And so that power hour has, rocked people's worlds. We will get so much done many times. And I'm going to toot my own horn here. Many times someone will be like, we are 30 minutes in and I've been confused about this for 2 years. And now I know exactly what I'm doing. And I'm like, babe, what? 2 years? Like, so if you've been confused about your messaging or how to express the value of your work, it's a great offer. And then I have my membership, which I just love so much. It's really about community and steadily growing your personal brand without like some overnight fix. This is like the real tangible steps. Like I touched on a number of them, the exercises that we do that make you, that will blow your mind when you look back and go, oh my gosh, look at all that I have created through taking strategic action, like actual strategy that moves the needle. Yeah. And then I have other offers that are included that you can check out on that page. I have a level 1, level 2, level 3 of the membership. Level 2 includes a 2-hour batching session where we get on video together with like a dozen other women and we're all creating videos. It's like the funnest thing ever.
Oh, how cool.
So I give you hooks and ideas and themes, and then you go and record for 10, 15 minutes and come back. We just had it this week and women walked away with like 15 videos to go post for their brand. I know.
I love that.
I love that it's the productive place too. So you like
yes.
get the shit done.
Yes. Yeah, I'm big on, I'm a big action taker. So yeah, those are just a few ways. And I do have a free resource as well around your messaging. It's a 20-minute brand messaging activation, and it talks through the POV and gives like a 3-part framework on how to create your brand message. So that's a great place to start if you want to dip a toe.
Amazing. I'll put all those links in the description below if you want to connect with Jaya and all of her resources. Jaya, is there anything else you would give our listeners before we close out the episode today?
Oh my gosh, I feel like we touched on so much, but just to put it all, package it back into a bow and also tied into what y'all do. I think it's really, really important to flex our brilliance and to be visible and to use our voices. And one thing that I have found through building a personal brand for 10 years, having over 100,000 followers on TikTok, I love that I get to actually do good things with my work. Like I really believe that good people being more visible and making good money is creating change. So it's like, I love a good F the patriarchy moment. And I think we're all doing that. And it is doing that. Just women being powerful and expressing their value in a marketplace that's dominated predominantly by men and like outdated structure. Like let's dominate it ourselves. Yeah. How about that?
Yes. Love it. Oh, I love that.
And Jaya, just thank you so much for you being a bold voice for women, for authenticity, for purpose, for people owning their path. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being on your path and saying yes to everything that you've created, because I loved this episode. I appreciate your candor. I appreciate your forward thinking and allowing us to give women more pathways to say yes to their voice and their power. So I just want to say thank you for doing what you do.
Aw, beautifully said. Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I don't know if I can add anything that you didn't say, Tamara, but Jaya, thank you for being on with us today and sharing your voice and your expertise and all of the little nuggets that you provided us. I feel like listeners, you could go back and watch this episode and hear something that you didn't hear before watching it through again. But we so appreciate having you on. We would love to stay connected with you, and we'll put all the resources below so our listeners can stay connected to you. But until next time, thanks for being on with us. Keep making magic, y'all.